Money is the thing that you hear and need every day. It has a long and fascinating history that stretches back thousands of years. It is the oil that greases our lives. The earliest known form of money were rare and valuable materials such as gold, silver, and copper, which were used as a medium of exchange for goods and services in ancient civilizations. Over time, other materials such as cowrie shells that were used for centuries as currency by native Africans, beads, and woven fabrics were also used as money. In ancient Greece and Rome, coins made of precious materials became a common form of money and were mined by the government. During the Middle Ages, metal coins were widely used as money through Europe and Asia. Also, paper money began to be used in some parts of the world. In the modern era, most countries have adopted fiat currency, which is paper money that is not backed by a physical commodity such as gold, but it is issued by the government and accepted as a medium of exchange. In recent years, the rise of electronic forms of money, such as credit card and electronic bank transfers, has further transformed the way we think about and use money. Overall, the evolution of money has played a role in the development of modern societies and economies, and it continues to be an important and influential force in the world today. The first form of trading it is believed to have been the barter system, which is a method of exchanging goods and services without the use of money. This primitive form of trade arose in societies where there was not a common medium of exchange that could be used to facilitate transactions. Bartering involved finding someone who had something that you wanted and was willing to trade it for something that you had. This type of trading was likely very limited in scope and would have only been practical for exchanging goods and services between people who lived in close proximity to each other. Despite its limitation, the barter system was an important step in the development of trade and paved the way of the use of money as a medium of exchange. The use of money greatly facilitated trade and allowed people to engage in more complex economic activities, leading to the development of modern economies. There are several advantages to trading with money, which has made it the most widely used medium of exchange in the world. Some of the key benefits of money trading include efficiency. Money allows for a more efficient exchange of goods and services, as it provides a common medium of exchange that can be used to facilitate transactions. This eliminates the need for bartering, which can be time-consuming and complicates logistics. You don't need to exchange corn for wheat in order to give the wheat for apples. You simply have the cash required. Liquidity. Money is a highly liquid asset, which means that it can be easily converted into other goods and services. Price stability. Being generally accepted as a medium of exchange means that its value is relatively stable. This can make it easy to make purchases and plans for the future, as you don't have to worry about fluctuating prices for the goods and services you want to buy. Overall, the use of money as a medium of exchange and store value has greatly facilitated trade and has played a key role in the development of modern economies. You bought some groceries, you have some change left in your pocket, or maybe you pay with your debit card or credit card. That is fiat currency. It is not backed by a physical commodity such as gold, but rather it is based on the trust and confidence that people, like you and me, have in the issuing government. Most countries use fiat currency as their official form of money. But can we trust the money? Well, it depends on the money you're using. If you're using monopoly money, then you're probably out of luck. But if you're using a more reputable form of currency, like the US dollar or euros, then you're probably in good shape. In all seriousness, whether or not we can trust money depends on the stability and reliability of the currency. If a currency is widely accepted, trusted, and it maintains a stable value over time, then it can be a reliable means of exchange. On the other hand, if a currency is unstable or prone to inflation, then it may not be as trustworthy. That being said, here are several factors that can contribute to the stability of a currency. A currency is more likely to be stable if the country's economy is strong and growing. This can be reflected in low unemployment, a healthy balance of trade, and low inflation. A central bank that follows a sound monetary policy, such as keeping inflation under control, can also contribute to the stability of a currency. A stable and reliable government that is able to efficiently manage the economy can also help to maintain the stability of a currency. A currency is more likely to be stable if it is widely trusted by the people and businesses within the country and internationally. A currency with a limited supply that is backed by a valuable commodity like gold may be more stable than a currency with an unlimited supply. We will come back to this point because it doesn't apply to fiat currency but rather to representative currency. Overall, the stability of a currency depends on a variety of factors, and it is often the result of a combination of strong economic and political conditions. A stable currency is important for the smooth functioning of the economy and can help to foster confidence and promote economic growth. We talked about fiat currency, but are there any other types? The answer is yes. Through the history, the way money was represented or backed has changed. Commodity money is a form of currency that is made from a physical material such as gold, silver or bronze. The use of commodity money dates back to ancient civilizations, where people used valuable material as a medium of exchange for goods and services. In many ancient societies, the value of a commodity was based on the intrinsic value of the material itself. For example, gold was considered valuable because it was rare and never rusted. As they developed and became more complex, the use of metal coins as a form of commodity money became more widespread. In ancient Greece and Rome, coins made of precious materials such as gold and silver became a common form of money and were mined by the government. The use of commodity money continued through history, and it was widely used as the official form of the currency in many countries until the 19th century. From that point, there was a transition all over the globe to the representative money. As the name suggests, it is a form of currency that represents a claim on a physical commodity such as gold or silver, but it is not itself made out of that commodity. Representative money can take the form of banknote or electronic record, and it is often backed by the central authority such as government or bank. At the base of the representative money is the gold standard, a monetary system in which a country's currency is directly tied to the specific amount of gold. Under the gold standard, people and businesses could exchange their currency for gold at a fixed rate, and the value of the currency was directly tied to the value of the gold that backed it. The gold standard was widely used through the 19th and 20th century, but it was gradually abandoned by most countries. The United States officially dropped the gold standard in 1971, when President Richard Nixon ended the ability of foreign countries to exchange US dollars for gold. Since the abandonment of gold standard, most countries have adopted fiat currency system, in which their currencies are not directly tied to a specific commodity but rather are based on the trust and confidence that people have in the issuing government. Overall, the main difference between commodity money, representative money and fiat money is the way in which they are backed. Commodity money is backed by a physical commodity, representative money is backed by a claim on a physical commodity, and fiat money is not backed by a physical commodity but rather by the trust and confidence that people have in their issuing government. All these three systems were invented and used before the 21st century. However, the development and mass adoption of technology has facilitated the appearance of cryptocurrency. First is the use of cryptography for secure financial transactions, and second is a decentralized system that allows for creation, transfer and verification of transactions without the need for a central authority such as a bank. Now let's take a look at the advantages they offer. Cryptocurrencies can facilitate faster and cheaper transactions compared to the traditional financial system, as they allow for the transfer of funds directly between users without the need for intermediaries such as banks. Basically, a digital cash transfer. Theoretically, they can make it easier for people who are underbanked or unbanked to access financial services, as they do not require a bank account or credit history. Cryptocurrencies are decentralized systems that are not controlled by any single entity, which can make them more resistant to censorship and government interference. It can offer a degree of anonymity for users, as transactions are recorded on a public ledger, the blockchain, but are not linked to the personal identity of a person. Now let's take a look at their disadvantages and what makes them scary for people to adopt. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, which means their value can fluctuate dramatically over a short period of time. This can make them a risky investment, as it is difficult to predict how their value will change. They are not regulated by the government or financial institutions, which means there is little oversight on the market. This can make it easier for fraud and other illegal activities to occur. Cryptocurrencies are not widely accepted as a form of payment, and it can be difficult to find merchants who will accept them. This can make it difficult to use cryptocurrencies for everyday transactions. Cryptocurrencies can be complex and difficult to understand, which may make them intimidating for some people to use. This can be a barrier to adoption for some users. They are not backed by any physical asset or government, which means there is no guarantee on their value. This can make them a risky investment, as their value is largely based on supply and demand. These are theoretical advantages and disadvantages, but in practice there are differences from one cryptocurrency to another. There even exist cryptocurrencies created by the government. One such example is the Chinese digital yuan. So you made it until the end. Glad to see that. Thank you. Now, let me know down in the comments below what are the main points I should improve on. Also, press the like button if you liked my commentary and analysis. And don't forget to subscribe.